Hi everyone, this is Adrian at 18 Echo SF. I decided to make a video today to recommend a book that I just bought and finished reading last night. And as some of you know, during the past year or two, I've recommended a few books that I thought everyone should have in their gun library. When you get to be as old as I am and been around guns this long, you probably have a number of books like me. However, I'm pretty selective about the books that I read, and as you also know, I'm a 1911 fan, and I have quite a few books concerning the 1911. But I also have some books on personal defense that I've have been written by a number of great trainers, Scott Reeds and Paul Howell and Tiger McKee. Like I said, I'm pretty discerning in my views and recommendations as well. And I can't even remember how I happened to hear about this book, but somehow on the internet I heard about handgun training for personal protection. It's written by Richard Mann, and Richard is a former law enforcement officer. He's a competition shooter, served in the military, and he's written a book that I really, really like. This book just came out this past year. Um, I didn't really learn anything new that I didn't already know or had at least heard of. However, what I like about the book is the way that it's done really reinforces everything that has to do with using handguns for personal protection, from choosing the correct gun to what caliber you might want to use to accessories like holsters and belts and all of those types of items, and the mindset, which is a primary point that's made in the book. Um, Richard is a real proponent of gun sight, and of course, like most of us that love 1911s, a true fan of Jeff Cooper and everything that he stood for, particularly concerning safety and general rules about how we should go about our life using handguns for protection. Now, a couple things about the book that I really enjoyed. He's a no bullshit kind of guy. He tells it like it is, even to the point of calling someone out who is known in the industry for making a statement that he didn't quite agree with, and he explains his reasons why. I won't mention who the person is, you'll find out if you read the book. He doesn't slam this particular person, who happens to be also an excellent gun trainer and a real warrior. But he explains why a statement that particular person made really didn't sit well with him, and I'll let you read the book to find out what that's all about. The book is really nice in that it's, if I can show you, it's got many, many pictures of just everything, and pistols in general, and ammunition, the different types of guns, even revolvers. And he definitely is opinionated in the things that he likes, but the things that he likes and believes in are things that have worked for him over the years. And I take that to heart because that's kind of how I am. There's a lot of people out there today that don't like 1911s. They think it's an antiquated pistol, being around 103 years now, and that the more modern polymer type guns are just better, more reliable, more accurate, whatever they like to say about them. And of course, none of those things do I agree with either, since I use a 1911 for personal protection. Um, but the way Richard explains everything really holds your interest. And what's nice about the book, he also incorporates a lot of the newer um, items that people are looking at today for guns, including lasers and lights, which is really nice. On my wife's 1911, she has a set of Crimson Trace laser grips that she absolutely loves. I don't particularly want to use laser grips. I choose to stay with iron sights on my pistols, and even though my eyes are aging, I might change that down the road a bit. But for now, I still use, iron sights. I do keep a Surefire light next to the gun in my nightstand, and have practiced with it as well at, one of the defensive handgun schools that I've been to. But he explains why those things are, important as well. And then when it comes to sights, the book kind of intrigued me a bit. He's one of the few people that I've ever read who have really pushed the use of the Express Big Dot sights from XS Sights, which I happen to have on my Kimber. And I do love that sight from a defensive standpoint. As I explained when I did the video on that pistol with those sights, out to about 15, 20 yards, those sights are fabulous. Now, I know there have been some videos showing people shoot them at 50 and 100 yards. I'm not that good, so I probably wouldn't be able to hit those targets. Maybe I would, but for me, that Express sight is fabulous from in close. We're talking 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 yards to 20. And from that distance, those sights are perfect because you don't really need to align the front and rear sights as much as you need to just get the front sight in the center of the target, and the rest will kind of take care of itself. So, Richard explains that, in the book as well. There's some really neat anecdotal sections of the book, which I also liked. He even talks about his wife, who is a shooter as well. But he goes through the points of using dry fire to practice when you don't have the opportunity to do live fire. And even if you do have the opportunity to go out and shoot, doing dry fire on almost a daily basis, like I do now, is really critical to maintaining the skills that we have, particularly from trigger manipulation and trigger control and sight picture. So, and he goes over all that, and he also has some drills in the book to explain how you can use dry fire and extend that out to live fire as well, and explains about building your own targets and how to use the drills to make yourself a better shooter, which of course is the name of the game. It makes us all safer by being better and more used to our guns. For me, it's a little bit easier. I don't change platforms at all. It's probably my downfall, to most of you, but I only shoot 1911s, even though, I have owned and have shot some of the newer handguns as well, and some of the older ones. I had a Beretta 92 FS as well, which I loved. For me, I prefer 45 caliber pistols. My wife shoots a 9mm, makes it a little bit easier for her. And I actually shoot her 9mm full-size 1911 even better than I shoot my 45s. Probably just from a recoil management standpoint, that 9mm is almost like shooting a 22. It just doesn't move around as much as the 45 does. So, but that could be just me. So don't take that to heart. But anyway, if you're interested in the book, again, it's called Handgun Training for Personal Protection by Richard A. Mann. I got mine at Amazon. I think it was less than $15, and just a fabulous, book. He explains his background and where he lives now, and how he sets up his own personal range, which he's able to have because he has a farm with 50 acres, so he's able to shoot on his property. But I think you'd enjoy the book. I mean, I really did. I got through this book just, off and on reading in 3 days max. I just picked it up whenever I sat down, had nothing to do, and I read through 1 or 2 chapters and really fell in love with his approach to explaining how and why we need to become better equipped and better skilled at our handgun use. So, highly recommended. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, as always. And stay well and safe out there, and I'll see you down the road.